This is our last class of the month to focus on balance. I'm having fun searching quotes for class. So this one's by Wayne Dyer. I don't know if any of you know him. He's written quite a few books kind of in the self-help genre. This one's called Being in Balance. Let's get ourselves settled and comfortable first. Cross-legged or sitting in a chair or butterfly. And we'll find our shoulders back and down and our hands resting where it's comfortable. Just going to teach a breathing technique, which is called, I think it's called square breathing, Foursquare. So it has a breath retention in it. So you want to find the comfortable amount of time to retain the breath. So the way it works is we breathe in for a count, whatever that is that's comfortable for you. Maybe it's 3, maybe it's 4, maybe it's 6. And then we hold for that same amount of time, just counting in our head. And then we exhale for that same amount of time, those number of counts in our mind. And we hold again. So if this is new to us, maybe we want to start small, like maybe even just 3. Breathe in for 3, hold for 3, breathe out for 3, hold for 3. And in our mind, we imagine that breathing in, the line goes up. We hold, come across the top of the box. We exhale, come down, and we hold again, coming across. So we're doing this square in our mind as we breathe in and hold and breathe out and hold. So when we're first starting off in the class, especially if we've rushed around to get here, it's normal for us to have a smaller number. Maybe later when we're more relaxed, we can expand that breath a little. But for now, just a few breaths with that box breathing. We'll just come back to our regular breath. Soften the shoulders again. Eyes could be opened or closed. And this is that quote from Wayne Dyer. Getting in balance is not so much about adopting new strategies to change your behaviors, as it is about realigning yourself and all of your thoughts so as to create a balance between what you desire and how you conduct your life on a daily basis. So not about adopting new strategies to change behaviors, more about changing our thoughts so that what we desire allows us to do what we need to do to be in balance. It's just a different way of going about things, starting with changing our thoughts instead of adopting strategies and changing behaviors. So just another mindset kind of focus. So we're going to find length in our spine. We'll inhale our arms up overhead. And we'll exhale them, circle back down and come to our heart. Let's try that a few times. Inhaling arms up. Exhale back down. And feel that big circle, fingertips reach away from us. Our spine stays nice and long. We'll follow our own breath. That's a little easier to do when we're standing or maybe in a chair. For now, if we're sitting, our lap might get in our way a bit. So the next time we circle down, we're going to stop at our goalpost. Inhale up, exhale to our goalpost. And feel those elbows reach away from each other. And feel the shoulders relax away from the ears. And let's gently push the elbows back and the chest forward, feeling lengthening across the chest and shoulders, strengthening at the upper back. And just checking that our chin hasn't gone too far forward, that our ears are still floating over the shoulders. On our exhale, let's give ourselves a big hug. Shoulders are soft, down away from the ears, and we pull the shoulder blades away from the spine. Our chin can drop toward our chest. We'll do that same thing again. Come back to our goalpost. Feel the shoulders drop, the elbows extend away from the body. And then on our inhale, push the chest forward, elbows back. Let the shoulder blades draw together and down. We'll give ourselves a big hug again, the other arm on top. We can allow the chin to drop. We'll come back, just let our arms shake out. Feel our shoulders relax. And with length in our spine, let's just drop one ear toward our shoulder. I was out and about more than usual today, and just notice even carrying a purse, that can create tension in shoulder and neck. I'm out of shape for purse carrying. And we'll bring our head back up, drop our other ear toward our other shoulder. So just on that note, a purse backpack can help distribute the weight more evenly, or just make sure we're constantly or frequently flipping the shoulder that we carry our purse on. Keep it as light as possible. We'll come back to center, and let's turn our head to look over the shoulder, maintaining that length in the spine. So we're just rotating on the axis without any bending. We feel that breath traveling in and out through the nose. And we'll do the same thing, coming through center and turning to look over the other shoulder. And we'll come back to center and do our little double chin. So we slide the chin back, creating length in the neck. This is our chin lock. And we'll come out of that and just find length in our spine again. Imagine we have a little pencil attached to the tip of our nose, and we're going to make tiny little circles, inhaling up and exhaling down. And take that circle in the other direction. So if we have any clicky or crunchy in the neck, we want to make that circle smaller, just working in that range where we're comfortable. Inhaling up, exhaling down. And we'll meet back where we started. We're going to give ourselves a little massage again today. So we're going to bring one hand to the opposite shoulder. And start wherever our hand lands kind of naturally. And then we'll work up a little higher. We're just below the ear. Work our way down. Just long strokes. Give a little extra attention to any places where there's tenderness, where we might find a little knot. And then work our way all the way down the arm. Just squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. A little massage. And give a little pull to each finger, even down to the fingertips. And notice the difference between the side that's been massaged and the side that hasn't yet. And we'll do the same thing other side. So start wherever our hand lands. Just gently rubbing. And feel those breaths in and out through the nose. Come a little higher up toward the ear. Long strokes down the neck. Little extra attention on any spots that are tender or where we find a knot. And work all the way down the arm. Giving each finger a pull. And shake both arms out. Do a few shoulder rolls, inhaling up. And exhale back and down. Okay to be noisy on that exhale. So we'll meet back where we started. We'll check in with that box breathing again. Maybe we can extend our breath by 1 count. Inhaling up the side of the box. Holding to come across the top. Exhaling down side. And inhaling across the bottom. Sorry, holding across the bottom. Inhaling up, hold. Exhaling down and hold. And we'll come back to where we began. Just our regular breathing in and out through our nose. We're going to prepare to come down onto our backs. So we can extend the leg, grasp behind the other, and land on the floor. Our arms are by our sides. Our knees are bent, our feet are grounded. And let's just check in with our breath here for a moment, feeling the belly rise on the inhale and fall on the exhale. Now we're going to bring one knee toward our chest. And we'll circle the toes. If we don't have a boot on that foot, we'll circle the toes the other direction. Extend the heel toward the sky and pull the toes toward the shin on the inhale. Exhale, pushing them away. Continuing that flow. We'll bend the knee and bring that foot back down to the ground. The same thing on the other side with the knee to the chest and warming up the ankle, if that's possible. Clockwise and counterclockwise. We'll extend the heel to the sky, inhaling the toes toward us and exhaling them away. And bringing that foot back down to the ground. Let's see how it feels to be in goalpost position on our backs. So with the focus on keeping the back of our head on the ground and our pelvis grounded and kind of that neutral pelvis, so resisting the urge to lift the belly or create more space in the low back. The shoulder blades are grounded, the pelvis is grounded, and then we move into those goalpost arms where the elbows are reaching, again, in opposite directions. So we feel that openness across the chest, maybe a little stretch at the front of the shoulders. And there's no pressure to put the backs of the hands on the ground. Maybe they move in that direction. But the greater emphasis is on the alignment of the spine. So we'll just let gravity gently open the shoulders. Gently let the backs of the hands fall toward the ground. While the back of the head and the shoulder blades and the pelvis are grounded. And we'll give ourselves a hug here where we pull the shoulder blades away from the spine. Feel that length in the back of the neck as we move into a tiny little chin tuck. A nice, relaxed, long, slow exhale. We'll come back to goalpost arms. Again, keeping the back of our head against the ground, the shoulder blades, the pelvis, elbows reaching away from each other, gravity gently rotating the shoulders. And we'll give ourselves a hug again with the other arm up. Shoulder blades pulling away from our midline. We'll come back to our goalpost. On our inhale, we're going to extend the arms into a V position, reaching up just a little bit. And on the exhale, we'll bring our elbows toward our rib cage like we do in our moonflower. So inhaling up, exhaling down. So we feel our shoulder blades kind of slide against the mat. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Really feel the shoulder blades pull down toward the hips on that exhale as the elbows pull toward the rib cage. Strengthening those upper back muscles. We'll finish by bringing our arms by our sides again, fingertips reaching for our heels, shoulder blades walking down away from our ears. Now that exercise is similar to a lat pull down when we're standing because we're giving ourselves resistance, having to work against the resistance of the mat. So a little bit of strengthening there for our lats. Now we're going to bring our attention to our belly, drawing the navel toward the spine on the exhale. Releasing on the inhale. We'll continue that flow. Over the next several exhales, we'll gradually increase the intensity of that contraction. Think about pulling the rib cage down toward the hips. If it's possible, as the rib cage pulls down, excuse me, also think about the pelvic floor lifting up. Everything's kind of squeezing toward the middle of the body. Imagine a space internally, kind of behind our belly button, everything squeezing toward that central area. The belly button's pulling down, the pelvic floor is pulling up, the rib cage is pulling down. Now we'll soften that and just relax. No abdominal contraction required. We'll come back to that rise and fall of the belly. Just a natural, comfortable rise and fall with the inhale and exhale. And we'll now prepare ourselves for a little crunch so we can support the weight of our head. With our hands, on our exhale, we'll pull the belly in, away from the ground. Inhaling back down to the floor, exhale, pull the belly in, a little lift. Just going at our own pace, following our own breath. If we have any tension in the neck, we just want to take a little break. Maybe massage it, just like we did sitting up, coming long strokes from the ears down toward the shoulders, down toward the collarbone. Maybe a little lion's breath where we exhale and stick our tongue out. Just working out any tension. And when we're ready, we can add another crunch with a twist if we'd like this time. So on the exhale, we pull the belly in, lift the head away from the ground, and bring shoulder or elbow toward the opposite leg, knee, hip, perhaps. Inhaling back down to the ground. The focus on that exhale is really to pull the belly in. If we're adding that twist, we should feel the rib cage on that side pulling toward the hip. We'll meet again back where we started, work out any tension that's been created again in the neck, long strokes, ear to collarbone, ear to shoulder, and maybe a lion's breath on the exhale, sticking out the tongue. And we're going to check our alignment again, walking shoulders down away from our ears. Notice ears, shoulders, hips, knees, ankles in a line. And we'll work on our pelvic tilt on the exhale, drawing the belly in and pressing our low back into the ground. Inhale, releasing. Exhale into the pelvic tilt. So we're initiating that movement with the abdominal muscles each time. The belly pulls in, the pelvis tilts. We release on the inhale back to that neutral position. We try to keep the bottom soft. All the work is coming in the belly. If we can do a lift with the pelvic floor at that same time, we can engage that as well. So pelvic floor lifts, belly pulls in, tip the pelvis back. Inhale, soften, exhale again. Try that one more time. Inhale, relax, exhale, drawing the belly in and the pelvic floor up into our pelvic tilt. We'll come back where we started. We're going to do that same pelvic tilt again, but this time we're going to engage the glutes to do it. So we're pushing our feet into the ground perhaps a little bit more than we just were. But on that exhale, we'll squeeze the bottom. Same movement where we tip the pelvis and press the low back into the ground. Inhale, softening back to our neutral pelvis. On the exhale, we squeeze the glutes and press the low back into the ground. The belly doesn't have to engage. We're trying to isolate different muscle groups now. On that exhale, squeeze the glutes. Inhale, releasing. A few more times going at our own pace. We'll come back to our neutral. We're preparing for our bridge pose. So we're going to try to lift off the ground with our hip. Hi, baby. I can't do the bridge with you standing on me. Oh, go to your bed. Go to your bed. Go to your bed. So we'll see how the rest of this goes. Rocco is loose. So we're on our backs, preparing for our bridge pose. We have all of our alignment to start. On our exhale, we're going to press our feet into the ground and lift our hips away from the floor. So check that our thigh bones are still parallel, that the weight is even on both feet. And then we'll slowly come back down to the floor. Good. And we'll continue to follow our own breath. Exhale, lift. Again, exhale, lower. So we'll hold at the top and the bottom with our inhale. We can add our arms if we'd like as we lift our bottom. The hands come away from the floor, reaching toward the sky, and then we can lower them to the floor overhead as the thumbs touch down. Inhaling at the top and exhale lower. We're going to meet back where we started. And we'll extend one leg toward the sky, reaching with the heel. We're going to do a very gentle hamstring stretch. So just finding length in the back of the leg. And on our exhale, as we draw the belly in, we're going to slowly lower the heel toward the ground. Now, if you have a boot on this leg, I suggest lowering with a bent knee. Otherwise, you have an extra probably 5 pounds on it. That might be too much for the back. If you're just lowering a leg without a boot, draw the belly in and see how it feels to do a long leg. If it's too much, then bend the leg. We'll come back to the center and do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to bring knee to the chest, extend the heel to the sky, find a gentle stretch in the hamstring and calf. And on the exhale, decide whether we want to lower a straight or bent leg. The belly pulls in. We'll come back to the center and we'll continue alternating. So knee to the chest, heel to the sky. On the exhale, the belly pulls in and we lower the foot toward the ground. Really focus on pulling the belly in on that exhale. And just check in with the upper body. Did the shoulders get tight? Did the muscles in the face get tight? Can we soften up there? Inhaling to extend. Exhaling to lower, drawing the belly in. Inhaling, knee to chest and foot to the sky. Exhale, slowly lowering. So the movement is very slow and steady and controlled. Really strengthening and lengthening the core. So if it feels comfortable to lower a straight leg, see how long you can make that leg, really reaching with the heel. So we're going slow as if we're lowering our leg through mud. Long, slow exhale. So you might naturally be doing a little bit of a breath retention like we did with the box breathing, where we bring a knee to the chest and extend on the inhale. Maybe we pause for a moment, holding that breath before we exhale and lower. And maybe we pause for a moment again while we bring the foot back before we start the other side on the inhale. We'll just do one more time on each side. Check in if the muscles in the face and shoulders are still relaxed. Inhaling up, exhale, drawing the belly in to lower the heel to the ground. One more time. We'll come back to where we started with the feet grounded and knees bent. And just check in with the breath. That rise and fall of the belly. And And check our alignment. We're going to move into another bridge pose. This time we're going to hold it. Hips away from the ground, checking our thigh bones that are parallel to one another, and the feet have our weight evenly distributed. And we can just hold and breathe here. We can squeeze the glutes perhaps to lift a little higher. If we'd like, we can bring one foot off the ground, trying to keep the hips even and steady. We can keep a knee bent. We can extend that leg. The breath continues to flow. When we're ready, we can slowly bring that foot back down to the ground, trying to keep our hips steady again. We can slowly do the same thing on the other side. Knee bent or extended. The belly's pulled in, the foot's pushing into the ground. We slowly lower and we'll come back down out of our bridge and bring knees to our chest. We'll make little circles with our knees, massaging the low back into the ground. Knees circle in the other direction. And have the option to try that again, either a stationary bridge or a one-legged bridge. Checking our alignment. On the exhale, lifting. Keeping nose at our midline, so be careful not to turn the head right or left. We're keeping the neck safe. And we have the option of just holding here or engaging all those muscles around the abdominals and the glutes as we slowly lift one foot off the ground. Keeping our breath flowing. And when we're ready, we can slowly bring it back. Stationary hips, breath continuing to flow. Same thing on the other side. And we'll slowly lower and bring knees to our chest and do little circles, massaging the low back. And the other direction. We're going to bring the feet to the floor. We'll roll over to our side and use our top arm to push ourselves up. However you want to transition, we're going to meet in standing first. So if you're wearing a boot, you're probably not going to do child's pose and down dog. If you're not wearing a boot, you can do child's pose and down dog. We're all going to meet in our mountain pose. So however you want to get there, you could walk the feet forward from your down dog. You could jump your feet forward, walk slowly, jump. We'll inhale our arms up and exhale our arms down. We're going to go through our moon salutation. So our toes turn out a little bit more than the heels. And we check our knees when we bend them, that they're tracking toward the middle of the feet, that we could see our big toes. And we'll come back up. So our moon salutation is our supporting our feminine energy. We're moving into that time of the year. So I think the clocks change this weekend. And have less sun, more moon. So we'll start with our arms in a V position. Our fingers are spread. Our shoulders are not up toward our ears. They're still soft, have a broadness across the collarbones. On our exhale, we're going to bend the knees and bring the elbows down toward our rib cage. So that lat pull down like we did on the floor. Feel the shoulder blades slide down. Give ourselves a little lift of the pelvic floor while we're here. Feel length in the spine. And we're going to flow a few times. Inhaling up. Exhale, sinking down. Inhaling up. Exhale down. And we're preparing to turn either direction toward the short edge of our mat. We're going to be in our high lunge. So our fingertips are up, our shoulders are soft, collarbones are broad. We feel that little bit of a balance challenge because the back heel is off the floor. That front knee is tracking toward the middle of the front foot. We find that drishti or that focal point to help us in our balance pose. And then we can choose between a tripod balance, or if we're familiar with our balancing half moon and we have a block nearby, we could do that one. So our tripod balance, we shift our weight onto the front foot, extend the back leg, fingertips touch down to the ground. And resisting the urge to lift that hip, see if we can keep them square. Breath flowing in and out through the nose. When we come back and bring that foot down and face the long edge of the mat with the toes turned out, we're going to meet in either a high or a low sumo squat. So high, I would recommend if there's any knee or hip concerns, we're being careful with those joints. Low, only if our body feels really safe and comfortable there. And we want to push out with the elbows with the same intensity that we pull in with the knees. So we feel the muscles of the inner thighs engage. The spine stays long. And we're going to meet back, standing tall, fingertips extended. We're preparing for our moonflower again. So on our exhale, slowly sinking down, elbows coming toward our rib cage, our belly pulls in, our pelvic floor lifts. Feel those shoulder blades slide down. And we'll flow a few times, inhaling up. And exhale, sink down. And we're going to take that same high lunge, but facing in the other direction with the other foot in front now. Check that all 10 toes are facing the same direction, the front knee tracking toward the middle of the front foot. And we can extend the arms overhead, relaxing the shoulders, finding our drishti. And into our balancing half moon or our tripod balance, shifting weight to that front foot, extending the back leg, dropping the hip if we're in our tripod balance. So the hips are squared. Breath is flowing in and out through the nose. And we'll meet back facing the long edge of our mat in either our high or our low squat. If we stay up high, our hands are pressing together. We check that the knees are safe and tracking toward the middle of the feet. But our hands pressing together will then engage the muscles in the chest. We feel that lift in the pelvic floor and the belly pulls in. And we're going to find ourselves standing tall in our mountain. Our feet are now hip width apart. And we're going to go through several of our balance poses. So we'll start off with our dancer. So we're going to bring Right foot behind us, externally rotating the shoulder and grasping the inside of the ankle if that feels okay. If not, just grab the outside wherever it's comfortable. And we're going to hinge forward, belly pulls in, hips stay square, finding that drishti, gazing off into the distance. Feel length in the quadricep, hip flexor of that bent leg. So if you're wearing the boot, only do the balance poses that feel safe and comfortable, maybe on just one leg, maybe we're just standing and breathing now. So from our dancer, we're going to move into our balancing crane, bending one knee, the other knee is bent in front of us, fingers pointing down, relax at the wrists. Again, finding that drishti. Feeling the muscles in the face, relaxed, soft. We'll meet back in our mountain. Feeling length in our spine. And we'll do the same poses to the other side. So moving first into our dancer, bring foot into our hand, trying to keep our thigh bones parallel to one another, so resisting this up position of the leg, trying to keep our hips squared, and we'll slowly hinge forward. Keeping the foot flexed, so toes pulling toward the shin, helps to keep the knee safe. We feel the breath flowing. And from our dancer, when we're ready, do our balancing crane. And we'll meet back in our mountain. We're preparing to come back down onto the floor, inhaling our arms overhead, and exhale, swan dive into our forward fold. Coming down to hands and knees. And check the alignment, shoulders over the crease of the wrist, hips over the knees. As we draw our belly in, we'll extend the right arm and the left leg into our spinal balance. The thumb up, the toes down, pulling the belly in. And when we're ready, we can slowly come back to all fours and take the same thing to the other side. From all fours again, we're going to thread the needle. We'll inhale, extend one arm away from us, and exhale, tuck it behind the other. Slowly coming down to rest our head on the ground. And feel the shoulder blade pull away from the spine. Reaching fingertips away from us, palm is up. We'll come back to the center and take the same thing to the other side, inhaling up, exhaling down. We're going to come back to all fours and then sink into our child's pose. And we'll walk hands to one direction, let the hips sink the other direction, feeling length in the side of the body. And we'll take that same lateral stretch to the other side. And coming back to the center, we're going to come into our relaxed child's pose. So we'll spread the knees, create plenty of room for the belly, and find a comfortable place to rest the forehead on the backs of the hands, the fists, a block, a pillow, whatever feels best. I'm just going to take a little bit of time to just breathe here. And feel that long exhale. So initially in that box breathing, our inhale and exhale were the same length of time. Let's see if there's the opportunity to double the length of the exhale now. So if we breathe in for 3, we breathe out for 6. Or in for 4, out for 8. And if we're happy in that position, we could stay there. If you prefer for Shavasana, you can lay down onto your back, your legs up the wall, legs on a chair. We're going to continue that same breath work during our Shavasana. So we'll find our comfortable position, bring our shoulders down away from our ears, relax the muscles in our face. And we'll check back in with that long exhale. See if we can make it twice as long as the inhale. If you liked that breath retention, we could hold at the top and the bottom of the breath the same length that we counted our inhale. So if we would inhale for 4, we could hold for 4, exhale for 8, hold for 4 again. So it's just the exhale that would be extended. We're going to start to wiggle fingers and toes. And when we're ready, we can bend the knees and roll to our side. We'll eventually meet in that comfortable seated position. Chair, floor, or bolster. And we'll be reminded that getting in balance is not so much about adopting new strategies to change our behaviors, as it is about realigning ourselves and all of our thoughts, so as to create a balance between what we desire and how we conduct our lives on a daily basis. With length in our spine, we'll inhale our arms overhead. And exhale, hands to our heart. And may the light in me honor the light in you. Namaste.